Guys, welcome to the Red Zone. So after my last morph video, there was a few requests to answer two questions. How to make 66% hets and how to make 100% hets. So today we're going to go a little bit more in depth, but I don't have a Red Bull, so I'm just going to super shot some pre-workout. First question that we're going to get into, how do you produce 66% hets? And is the 66% het a real thing? So, if you want to produce 66% hets, if it's even a real thing, you would need a het-to-het pairing. So, you got big X, you got little x. You got big X, and you got little x. So our co-dominant trait is going to be the little x, our dominant trait is going to be the big X. So you got big X, big X. You got big X, little x. Big X, little x, little x, little x. So this guy right here is carrying both of your dominant traits. This guy right here carrying both of your co-dominant traits. So whatever trait that you're breeding for, this is going to be your visual. These two right here are going to be 100% het. This guy will not be het at all. But you have 3 dragons that are het, or you have 3 dragons, 2 of them are het, 1 of them aren't. How do you tell? So you got 3 dragons, which only 2 are het. So if 3 dragons is your 100%, but only 2 of them are het, that would mean out of the 3 babies, you have a 66% chance of getting 100% het when breeding. But there's still always going to be that one that's not het at all. So the dragons are not actually 66% het. What they are is 2 of them are 100% het, 1 of them isn't. Now you have 100%, you got 3 dragons. You divide 100 by 3, you get 33%. 2 of them are het, so you have a 66% chance of hitting a het dragon out of your 3. That's what they mean. So when you breed a het-to-het pairing, anything that's not visual, you would call a 66% het. Now, how do you produce a 100% het? A 100% het is a visual times a normal. So you got your dominant, and then, or this one would be 2 recessives. So you got little x, big X, big X. So everything is going to be big X, little x, big X, little x, bring down the big X, little x, big X, little x. So everything, when you breed a visual to a normal, is carrying the co-dominant trait, whatever trait that is that you're breeding. Now, so guys, when you breed a visual to a normal, everything is going to be 100% het. All of the babies will carry the recessive gene. Since the mother or the father was a visual, that means both of its genes that it's going to carry over will be recessive. And the parent, you don't want to do anything that's het. You just get into weird situations, water down the genetics. Not good. You always want to do a visual to a normal or a het-to-het. That's the only reason I'm talking about these two, is because that's what you should be breeding. You shouldn't be breeding a visual to a het, and you shouldn't be breeding a visual to a visual. But To create 100% hets, you need a visual to a normal. To create the 66% chance at hitting a het, you would need a het-to-het pairing, and any baby that you produce from your het-to-het pairing will be 66% whatever gene you are breeding for. The recessive traits are zeros, whiplets, translucents, hypos. Now, hypo is the only recessive gene that you can breed visual to visual and get 100%. It doesn't affect the dragon's actual genetics or health. Well, it does affect the genetics, obviously. It's going to make everything 100% hypo, but it doesn't affect the health. So we'll get into all that in a whole nother video. This is how you produce 66% hets, 100% hets, and create visuals by breeding your het-to-het, because this one right here is carrying both recessive genes. This one is not carrying any of the recessive genes. So you're creating visuals when you breed a het-to-het. That's how you guys should be breeding and producing your visuals. Zeros, whiplets, translucents. Alright everybody, so just to clear everything up before we end the video, I'm going to go ahead and actually set up the Punnett square with a specific recessive trait and a specific dominant trait. Go through it all and explain it as we make a visual right now. So this is a het-to-het pairing. As you can see, this would be the mother's genetics, this would be the father's genetics. You have the dominant trait, which is going to be the green X, and you have the recessive trait, which is going to be the blue Y. The recessive trait is going to be a 0, and the dominant trait is going to be normal scale. So if I bred a het-0 normal scale to a het-0 normal scale, I'm going to produce a normal scale het for 0, a normal scale het for 0, and a visual 0. If I was to produce only 4 babies, these would be the odds. Now, I'm going to produce 1 visual and 3 babies that aren't. So these 3 babies would be my possible 66% het for zeros. Since there's 3 of them, I could take this guy out of the equation because I know he's not part of the hets. So I have 3 hets, I have 3 babies. You take the 100%, you divide that by 3, you got 33%, so each baby stands for 33%. This baby's 33%, this baby's 33%, this baby's 33%. Now, you have 2 of those babies that are 100% het for 0, but you cannot tell the difference between the non-het and the het for 0 because it's not visually showing you any traits. So you have a 66% chance, but because these 2 babies are 100% het, you have a 66% chance of hitting het for 0 in this clutch because you have these 2 babies. Now, if we changed it up, and did a visual, which would carry both recessive traits, to a normal scale, not het for anything, you would get a normal scale het for 0, normal scale het for 0, normal scale het for 0, normal scale het for 0. So your clutch would be 100% het for 0. And if you guys are wondering how I'm getting all this, the father's traits come down, boom, boom. The father's traits come down, boom, boom. The mother's traits come over, and the mother's traits